The tumultuous life of Selena, a devoted wife caught in a web of betrayal. Unbeknownst to her husband Eric, Selena has been having an affair with Michael, a charismatic houseworker hired to assist with household chores. And this is her story. Eric and Selena family were ecstatic to finally return to the old house that Selena had inherited from her mother. As they stepped inside, they were greeted by the musty smell of old wood and the sight of damaged furnishings. They knew they needed a skilled carpenter to work on their house. While Selena took their two children to the grocery store, a young man approached her. She smiled politely and continued shopping, but then realized that her daughter was missing. Panic set in as she frantically searched for her little girl. Just as she was about to call for help, a man arrived at the entrance of the grocery store, holding her daughter's hand. Selena's relief was quickly replaced by confusion, as she wondered who this man was. Back at home, Eric was busy repairing the house while Selena took care of their children and ran errands. As she dropped off the kids at school, she noticed a woman crying in a car parked by the side of the street. She couldn't help but feel a sympathy for the woman. One evening, as they entered a restaurant, they could feel the curious stares of the people inside. It was obvious that they were new in town. A man approached their table, introducing himself as Peter. Selena recognized him as the man who had brought her daughter back at the grocery store. As they conversed, Selena learned that Peter was a contractor and knew her mother. Eric, who was struggling to find a reliable carpenter, invited Peter to discuss the renovation of their house the next day. When Peter arrived at their house, he carefully inspected the damages and suggested a plan for the renovations. Selena and Eric were relieved to have found someone they could trust to work on their house. As the workers began the renovations, Selena couldn't help but notice one particular worker, Michael, a muscular young man who had approached her at the grocery store. She was surprised to learn that he was part of the team working on their house. No matter what she did, Michael always seemed to find a way to talk to her. Peter, on the other hand, had also gotten closer to Selena's family. Peter as a kind and trustworthy friend, but his recent actions had made Selena question his true intentions. It all started when Eric mentioned that Selena had inherited a large sum of money to renovate their house. Selena reminded Eric not to disclose their budget to the builder, but as the renovation progressed, their expenses seemed to increase with each passing day. Peter's suggestions were being followed more, and Eric readily agreed to them. Meanwhile, Michael, a young man who had been hired to help with the renovation, was always close to Selena. Little by little, she found herself drawn to him, and Peter seemed to be aware of this. Peter was always there, even during personal family outings. It was during one of these outings that Peter first mentioned the idea of building a bungalow instead of continuing with the renovation. Selena was taken aback, but Peter assured her that it would save them a lot of money in the long run. However, after the conversation, Selena was approached by a woman who had been crying in her car. She warned Selena to stay away from Peter, claiming that he had ulterior motives. Eric, husband of Selena, sent her with Michael to the hardware store for materials. He made it clear that he didn't trust Michael to give him the credit card. As they struck up a conversation, Selena couldn't help but be drawn to his charm and wit. But as she stood in front of the closed store, Michael suggested they go to a nearby restaurant. It was like a magnetic pull, and she found herself blushing under his gaze. Michael leaned in and planted a gentle kiss on her. Selena's heart skipped a beat, and she couldn't resist his charm any longer. After a few days of being away, Selena finally decided to send her sister to their house to check on things. One day, as Selena was taking a shower, Michael entered the bathroom. Instead of stopping him, she followed his lead, and things between them escalated quickly. However, their intimate moment was interrupted by Selena's daughter's call.
Mama!
The next day, Selena and her sister were in the car. Michael appeared out of nowhere. He claimed that he needed Selena to purchase some materials with him, and her sister was ecstatic at the thought of the three of them spending time together. But Selena had other plans. She left her sister at her son's school, and the two of them drove off together. Michael took Selena to an abandoned house, and there, they gave in to their desires. Selena had cheated on her husband, and she was completely consumed by her attraction to Michael. Selena sat in her living room, reminiscing what happened to her and Michael. They had shared secret kisses and embraces, careful not to be caught by their colleague. But now, with Eric away taking care of his sick mother and Selena's sister gone, they had more freedom to be together. However, Selena's sister's parting words echoed in her mind, reminding her of the danger they were in. She urged Selena to stop what she was doing before Eric found out. With a heavy heart, Selena asked Michael to find another job and not return to their house. But just as things seemed to be settling down, Eric returned and Selena's daughter innocently mentioned seeing Michael come out of the shower with her mother. Selena quickly covered it up, claiming the shower was broken and Michael was just fixing it. Eric, being the understanding husband he was, didn't think much of it, but Selena couldn't shake off the feeling of guilt and worry. She talked to Michael again, pleading with him to stay away, but he couldn't resist the temptation. At the meeting, Eric and Peter, they discussed plans to build a bungalow on their property. Selena, still feeling guilty, opposed the idea. This led to a heated argument between husband and wife, causing tension in their marriage. The next day, Selena was relieved to find out that Michael had been replaced by someone else. But there was also bad news: she was pregnant with Michael's child. She had to hide it from Eric, knowing it would only cause more problems. Peter, who had a hidden agenda, approached Selena and showed her a photo of her and Michael. He threatened to show it to Eric if she continued to oppose the bungalow project. Feeling trapped, Selena reluctantly agreed to the project. As construction began, Selena couldn't help but feel sick and tired all the time. Her pregnancy was taking a toll on her, but she couldn't let anyone know the truth. Selena and Eric arrived at Peter's house, ready for a night of fun. But as soon as they walked in, Selena's heart dropped. Standing in the corner was the woman who had warned her about Peter and Michael on the other side. And then she saw a picture of Michael on the wall. He was Peter's son. She couldn't believe it. She had been set up. As the night went on, Selena's mind raced back to the day at the grocery store. Selena blamed Michael for her pregnancy, not knowing that Peter was listening in on their conversation. Selena woke up the following morning with a troubled heart. She had committed a serious error that would destroy her union with Eric. Gathering her bravery, she told him everything. Peter stormed in as she was opening up, and raged at Selena for breaking her word to him. After they had been fighting, Selena pushed Peter out of her wrath, causing him to fall and strike his head on the axe blade. He passed away right away. Michael showed up at the scene as Selena was still stunned. Panic filled Michael's head as he saw Peter's lifeless body. He assisted the couple in hiding the crime without giving it a second thought. Together, Selena and Eric carried Peter's body to his home. For the pair, it had been an exhausting and lengthy day. They were met with a surprise the next day. When the cops showed there and started questioning Selena, she didn't say anything since she knew Michael was covering for her. She could hear Michael's voice outside the questioning room as she sat there, pleading with her to keep silent. After a protracted investigation, Selena was eventually set free. However, she witnessed Michael being carried away in handcuffs after admitting to the murder as she was leaving. As she became aware of the sacrifice he had made for her and her family, tears filled her eyes. Selena's family returned to normal after that day, but something was still missing. Now incarcerated was Michael, the guy who had accepted responsibility for her error. However, she was aware that he had done it out of love, and she would always be appreciative of that.